Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In previous video we have seen what are data types in Java. In this video we will be seeing what are variables and literals in Java. So let's consider an example. Here we have two containers and they are holding salt and sugar. But just by looking at the picture, it is very difficult to distinguish which container is holding salt and which one is holding sugar. So what we can do? We can put labels on the containers. So now we can distinguish like the first container is holding salt and the second container is holding sugar. Similarly in Java, data types are the containers and variables are the names which are given to that container. So it becomes easier to tell what kind of data or what type of data that data type is holding. So it makes the code more readable and maintainable. So now we know that data types are container and variables are the names which are given to those container. Now what are literals? In case of these jars, the salt which is present inside this jar or the sugar which is present inside this jar is literal. So the content of the jar is literal. Similarly in Java, the value that is present inside the data type that the data type is holding, that is literal. So what we have seen till now, data types are containers and variables are the name of the container. Literals are the value stored inside the container. So here we can see the container is data type and the label or the name which is given to container is called variable. And the content or the stuff which is present inside this jar is literal. So now we will see how we declare a variable. So here we can see the data type of this variable is int. So this is the data type. This is the name which is given to the variable and the value that is present inside this variable is 35. Similarly here we can see another variable which is having data type as int. Name of the variable is Tom's work experience and its value is 15. So 15 is literal, Tom's work experience is variable and int is the data type. Now suppose in case of Tom's age, you are taking a variable name like number 1 and in place of Tom's work experience you are using number 2. So by using number 1 and number 2, we cannot figure out what is number 1 and number 2. Number 1 equal to 35 and number 2 equal to 15. So it's quite confusing. So the variable name which we are using, that is also important. It should be relevant to the data which is being stored. So here by reading the variable name we can figure out like it's age of Tom and second variable is work experience of Tom. If you are giving name like number 1, number 2, it is not meaningful. You cannot figure out what kind of data or what type of data it is storing. So the name which the variable is assigned, that is important. So it will be useful in increasing the readability and maintainability of the code. Now the name which we are using for the variable, there are certain rules which we have to follow while naming these variables, which we will be seeing. As I said, this is data type, this is variable, this is literal. Now talking about naming convention, there are certain rules which we follow while naming the variable. Similarly in real world as well, we follow certain rules while naming people. For example, there are certain words which have certain meaning. You cannot name a person with table, book, chair because they are already reserved and they have certain meaning. So there are exceptions in real world as well. Similarly in Java, there are certain rules which we have to follow. For example, name can contain letters from small a to z, capital A to Z, 0 to 9, and in special characters we can use underscore and dollar. Name should not start with a number. You can use a number while naming a variable, but it should not start with number. For example, 1, 2, 3 Tom. This is not a valid variable name. and cannot contain white space. It cannot contain space. So you can start a variable from dollar or underscore, but you cannot start naming a variable using numbers. Names are case sensitive. If you write Tom all in small letters and if you write Tom all in capital letters, it will be considered as different variables. It will not be considered same because Java is case sensitive. So some reserved keywords which we cannot use. Similar to English dictionary, there are crores of words which we don't use for naming human beings. Similarly, we have reserved keywords present inside Java which you cannot use to name a variable. You don't have to mug up all these. With experience, you'll come to know which variable you cannot use. So we have seen variable, we have seen what is data type, what is variable, what is literals. Now we will see few examples. How to declare those variables we will be seeing in code. Now we will be writing few code and we will be seeing how to declare variables. I will open my notepad. Let's take a new file. I will write my class. Class name will be variable demo, opening curly bracket, closing curly bracket, public static void main. We will be seeing what this keyword means in our future videos once we study classes, methods. String. So before going to variables, I have a question. Dot suppose I am taking this number there are two numbers 10 and 10.5. I want to know what is the data type for this number. I have not assigned any data type from my side. So what is the default data type for this non-decimal number and what is the default data type for this decimal number? So the answer is Java by default provide int data type for any number, and for decimal numbers Java provide data type as double. So the data type for this number is int and for this number, decimal number, is double. So you should know these things. Now let's move on to declaring variable. So I want to declare a byte data type. Byte B, let's keep it B, and let's store 10. And I will declare one more variable int of int data type, and variable name I'm keeping as I. I'm storing 15. Let's print and see if we are able to print or not. Print ln. So first one is byte value. I will use B. B is the variable. I'm trying to print it. In second, I am printing int value. So integer value, you can give any name. And variable name is I. So let's save this file. I will save in this folder. Name of the file will be variable demo.java. Save. Okay, now go to the folder. We got our Java file. Now I will open my terminal. Just type cmd here. Now command prompt is open. Now as we have to compile our file. So what is the command for compiling? We have seen already. Java C file name variable demo.java. Enter. So it compiled successfully. We didn't got any error. Now I will run this code. For running, we have to just use Java and file name. So yeah, we got the output. Byte value is 10, integer value is 15. Now let's declare few more variables of different data types. Suppose I am declaring long type variable L equal to, let's keep 100, and floating type variable float F equal to, let's keep 50.5. Now I want to print this long value, float value. So I have to replace this B with L because the variable name is L, and here F because float variable is the variable name is F. So let's save it and let's try to run it. Yeah, we got some error. Now why we are getting this error? We have already seen while discussing data type, like we have to use L. So let's go back. If you remember, for declaring long, the default value is 0L. Why this L is used? Because by default the data type which Java uses for integer is int. So to tell Java like this is a long type, we have to write L. Similarly, in decimal numbers, the by default value that Java uses is double. So to tell Java like this number is float type, we have to use F. So we can use small f or capital F, doesn't matter. Similarly, we can use small l or capital L. Anything is fine. So once we put for long, we are using L to tell Java like this is long type literal. And to tell Java like this is float type literal, we have to use L and F. Now let's save and try to print it again. This time it compiled successfully. Let's run it. Yes, we are able to run it and we got the output. So I hope it is clear how to declare these variables and to use it. Now I want to write a code for adding two numbers. So how we can do that? Let's see. I will remove this and I'll remove one print statement. Suppose I want to add two numbers, 10 plus 20. So let's save. Let's go to command prompt. Let's compile. It compiled successfully. I will execute. So we are getting the output as 30. Now I want to I want to add 20 plus 20. Let's go to command prompt. Yeah, it is compiled successfully. Let's execute. So we are getting 40. But the problem here is every time I have to add two new numbers, I have to go back to the code. I have to edit from here. I have to recompile my code and I have to execute it. So this is not the right approach to do addition of two numbers. So how we can avoid it? We can avoid it by using variables. I want a mechanism that while executing my code from here, I can pass the numbers I have to add. Suppose I want to add 15 and 20. So I can pass the values from my command prompt. So this can be achieved by using variables. So whatever input we are giving from this command line, it will be stored inside the string array args. So what is an array? This we will be seeing in a future lecture, but as of now you can consider it as a box. It is a box which will consist the input which we are passing from here, but this input will be in string data type. So it will store 15 and it will store another the other number which is 20, but this is of string data type. What is string? String is basically a word like hello is a string. So whatever numbers we are passing, it will consider it as string, but we want it to be in integer data type. So the first problem is we have to convert this string value to integer value. So for doing addition, The second problem is this box consists of both the inputs 15 and 20. So I want to get this input one by one. To get this input, we have to use index. Index is nothing but position. So what is the position of 15? 15 is at 0th position. What is the position of 20? 20 is at the 1 position. If there are more elements, suppose there is another element 25, another element 30. So the position of 25 is second, position of 30 is third. So the array starts from 0 and 0 and it keeps on increasing, which this is nothing but in context of array it is called index. So to get 15 I have to use 0th position. To extract 15 I can get 15 by using syntax like this. So the index starts from 0 and it keep on increasing. This is just for the understanding purpose I have written. Now let's do the actual coding. I have two numbers, so I have to declare two variables, int number1. So number1 is of integer type and I want the, as we have seen from the box, from this box I want the first whatever element which is present at the first position. First means 0th. Since the position start from 0, I want to get the first element. So first element I will get from 0th position. Similarly, I want the second element as well. So second element I will get at the first index. Now I got the element, but this element is in string form. I want to convert that string into integer. For that we can use integer dot parse int. It is a inbuilt class provided by Java which is used to convert string data type to integer data type. Again we will see what is classes, what is methods in detail. So as of now you can just think of it as a tool to convert string data type to integer data type. So this we have string data type, I am converting it to integer data type. Similarly, I will convert the second number to integer data type. Now I got two number 1 and number 2. I want to add this two number. So instead of using the values directly, I will use this variables to add number 1, number 2. So my code is complete. Let's see whether I can execute this successfully or not. Go back to your command prompt. First we have to compile the code. javac variable demo.java. Something okay. Command is wrong. So the code got compiled successfully. Let's execute. So this is giving me an exception because it is expecting some input, because we are using this argument 0 and argument 1. It is saying index 0 out of bounds for length 0. So there is no element inside this box. Currently there are no elements and we are trying to get the element present at 0th position and element present at first position. So it is giving me error like there are no element. How you are trying to get those elements? So while executing we have to give the values. Suppose I want to add 10 with 15. Let's enter. So I'm getting 25. Now I want to add another number. Suppose I want to add 10 and 30. So I'm getting 40. Let's add 30, 45, 30. I'm getting 75. So here you can see I don't have to go to the code and again edit this code and again compile and execute. So that is the power of variable. You can reuse the code again and again. It increases the reusability of the code. It also increases the readability of the code. So in today's video we have seen what is the default values that Java assigns to decimal numbers and non-decimal numbers. We have seen how to declare variables. Then we have seen sum of two numbers without variable and with variable, and what are the advantages that comes along with variable. So that was all for today's video. If you have any doubts, you can mention it in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Till then, see you.